good afternoon, everybody. My name is Christopher Hamilton, and today I will be bringing you this version, a very special version of the Lighthouse Effect, with a very special guest that we have here. I have my brother here, Jermey Robinson.
How you doing, man? How y'all doing? Thank you for, the opportunity first off, thank you, man, for having me on the show, bro. And my name is Jermey Robinson, as he said. I'm a software developer by facet of what I did. Attended Clark Atlanta University with Chris here, great young man, and have my own podcast called The It Factor. And just ready to go ahead get in on the show, man.
Hey, man, that's a good little introduction. Yeah, Jermey is a longtime friend of mine, as well as a partner with our business Smooth Finish, as well as, we're collaborating together on our different shows and stuff. So I just brought Jermey in here today to talk about some things that motivated him to get to where he is today as a software developer, as well as on his IT podcast. So, Jermey, could you elaborate on what motivated you to get to where you are right now?
Well, to be very honest, man, I came from single parent home. My mom raised me, and I was able to get in the program in high school called the STEM program. The STEM program kind of was one of them where you took advanced courses, stuff like that, but you also took field trips, bro. And I'm not talking about no go down the street to Dairy Queen field trip. It was like we really went to museums. We went to universities that practiced STEM, was heavy in STEM. And also we were just able, I went to NASA, so I was able to see that place. And every time I went, people was like, you gonna be here someday, And I was like, hey, what I got to do to be there? So I researched once I go home. So I remember going to the Kennedy Space Center, and I've been intrigued by some of the things they were doing to create rockets and things of that nature. And I was like, dang, what I got to do to be a rocket scientist, Because you used to joke, science, it ain't rocket science, I used to always say that. I was like, I actually think I want to be a rocket scientist, something like that. And to be honest, man, that's really what piqued my interest in wanting to learn computer science. I wanted to see what goes behind, operating a computer. Believe it or not, I thought it was like, I'm building computers, man, believe it or not. I ain't think I know nothing about coding or any of those things. So I was just like, yeah, man, let me find out about it. So that's kind of how I got into tech.
Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of got in the same way with being exposed to different things, and made me wonder about what makes all of this run. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like technology is kind of the backbone that makes everything run. That was why I went and got my degree in it as well. So also what what motivated you to make this podcast, IT Factor? Could you tell the people a little bit about that?
So, man, that's very important to me, first off, man. The reason why, what motivated me to do it was I was the same student once I came in at Clark Atlanta University that, was studying, and in your studies, you YouTube, you Google, let me look up somebody, man, where the brothers at, where the sisters at, that's talking about tech. You ain't even got to be teaching that. That motivator, we needed it. And the fact that we didn't have it, and I feel like even the stuff that I tried to find, I felt like it was there, but it fell off a little bit. I was like, let me go ahead and not only create a podcast for business and tech, which is the grounds of the podcast. Let me bring a podcast that's like the Breakfast Club, except for the foundation is not, entertainers. The foundation is whatever your occupation is. If you Black, we want you on it, man. We want you to talk about your journey, and I want to be able to build partnerships with them. I feel like I've been able to do that since actually around this time last year I started. So it's stuff like that to be able to have and follow people that students can look back to, older people, anybody can look and say, oh, Jermey had so-and-so on there. They're a cloud engineer. I want to be a cloud engineer. Oh, he had a lawyer on there? Oh, what I got to do to be a lawyer? Stuff like that. Or what can I do other than, stack development? Or what can I do other than coding all day? What can I do if I get this degree? Instead of at school, they only teach you these are the jobs you could have, show you a couple people, you may go to a career fair or whatever. But I wanted to be able to let people look on YouTube and say, hey, wait a minute, man, I can look up the It Factor, let me see what Jermey talking about. Oh, he got so. I wanted to be able to have different facets of people so that we can just show them the narrative of what our people are doing.
Oh, okay. That was actually what I received from it when I was he actually interviewed me on the podcast as well. I was actually one of the first interviews, and from what I see now what he's doing, he's bringing a lot of people in from different avenues and kind of educating the community on what it's like to be in their shoes, what it's like to be in their position in the corporate world. As well as that leads me up to your next question. My next question, how is it in the corporate world? Can you talk about your occupation a little bit?
To be very honest with you, man, like we was talking the other day, it's a job. We won't start off by saying that, and a job is something that you do that you got to realize that I like computer science. Like I love computer science. I got my degree in that. But do I love working for someone else? No. Like, cause nobody else, they're not gonna love me back. So I'm gonna start off by saying that when you're doing this job, it's certain things you're gonna be faced at, especially as being a Black person. You're gonna be faced with so many things that are not in your favor. But as long as you do your work, it gonna speak for itself. But you gotta know how to stand up for yourself. So I kind of been in that situation as of late, and I've been working through it, praying through it, and just trying to get through it so that you guys that are watching this won't have to go through these certain situations. So like I would say, it's not, I wouldn't just say it's a struggle, man. Just know that it's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like I had somebody tell me that all the time. Like, it's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's a battle, man. Like no matter where you're working at, no matter what you're doing, it's gonna be a battle until you find out what's for you. And in that, I had a show, have joint ventures that I do outside my job that allow me to know that, Jerry, this ain't the end of the road for you. I'm working to be a college professor, and doing that, it's giving me that mindset of saying, I'm doing this for now so they can take care of what's going to happen later.
Okay.
So I don't have to, I use the job just like they're going to use you when you get to work. You use them the same way. Like, oh, let me get that experience from you. Okay, you can do what you want to do. Okay, we're going to work around it now. You ain't going to treat me like I'm a second class citizen.
No,
I'm
right.
let y'all know I'm degreed just like you. May have more than you, but I'm not going to throw it in your face. I'm just going to do my job. I'm going to go home, and y'all going to furnish whatever else I have planned to do. So that's why I would say get your experience, man. Like experience is key in America. Experience is key, and get your experience. And no matter if it's a couple months, a year, 5, 10, like no matter how long the span the experience is, the best thing to learn about working is, know that it's an end to it. Like it's not going. Don't look at it as if, oh man, it's the end all be all. I got to do this because my bills and this going on. So I would just say that's the best. That's the best thing I do when I look at work.
I receive that, brother. I really appreciate that insight about it. And also, that also leads me into my very next question, which would be, what are some pointers that you would give somebody looking to get a job in the corporate world? Would you recommend it to them?
So I definitely recommend it. The reason why I recommend it is you want to go work corporate so that you can find out, is it for you? And what I mean is saying, hey, can I do this 5, 10, 20, 30 years? Or do I want to do this, get their experiences? Because it's like you work for a company like me, they've been around for a long time. And if you can get what they do, not even everything, but if you can get a little bit of what they do and put it into your lifestyle, it's going to make you a millionaire like them or a billionaire. And that's what mindset we got to have when you walk into these doors. So I definitely recommend going to corporate, man, because corporate America teaches you, like, it's not for long. It's like the NFL. It's like, look, man, I'm going to be here. I'm going to get what I need, and I'm going to keep it moving. But I would never shoot it down. Now, if you can avoid it, avoid it. Hey, you ain't got to do it, don't do it. But coming from the heart, man, try it. You never know something when you try. Just because my story ain't the best story always, every day ain't like that at work. Like every day, a different day. It's like, hey, it ain't like people out to get you. For the most part, it's like, hey, let me get my stuff done. Let me figure out, and I can move on. So that's why I would say corporate, it changes your mindset of saying, you know what, can't do this 5, 10 years. Let me go try another profession, or let me go do this.
Learn what I need to learn in here so I can move on to the next piece of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's my point. My last pointer for that is just know what you're getting yourself into. That's why you had this video and videos as such. You're gonna be tested. That's no matter what you do. They don't care if you're an entrepreneur, if you're working for corporate, or whatever you're doing, you're gonna be tested. But the best thing is how you're gonna fight through that test and say, hey, come out on a good way, in a positive way. It'll always work in your favor.
Amen, brother. I received that. Yeah, and that's a that's a good way to wrap it up too. So I was also wanted to know about where can the people find you, get more involved with the IT Factor as well as you, Mr. Robinson.
All right, cool, man. So I'm an open person, bro. You know, I like to think of myself that way. I would say my Instagram handles are at the It Factor podcast, and again, that's at the It Factor podcast. And I also have at Rob Jeremy. That's my personal page. And also, I'm pretty sure if you this video, you can tag my email if you want. And I mean, that's the best way you can get in touch with me. You know, and anything like you know, you need to talk to me, want to figure out about a job, want to any kind of consultation is free. We can talk, figure something out. So.
Amen. I really appreciate this, brother, and I really appreciate you coming on the Lighthouse Effect to just give more insight about the corporate world as well as the world in technology, because you've really been a blessing to me as well as I want you to be a blessing to other people in our community. So I just want to thank you for coming on the Lighthouse Effect and sharing your points.
I look forward to working with you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and it's going to keep going, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for listening, tuning in, everybody. This has been another episode of The Lighthouse Effect with your host, Christopher Hamilton. Y'all have a very blessed day and continue to love and strive and continue to move forward. Y'all have a blessed day.
Take it easy, brother.